that sat on them benches. I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work.
What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? I've got the hat on again. Oh, I sound kind of loud. Let me turn that volume down a little bit. I feel like I sound a little too loud. And my computer and my camera moved. Let's move that. Better. And a little better. Anyways, I got the hat back on. What's going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, the 863 tribe? It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. Is the mic still? Do I still sound super loud? No, I sound better. I think I sound better. But man, what is going on? And I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode, man. But we gotta have a talk. We gotta sit down as a community today, and we gotta talk. And we're gonna have a talk, bro. We're gonna have a conversation. First, of course, we'll hit a roll call here in a second. But of course, we're also gonna just drop on some updates for those of you that may or may not be in the loop of what's going on currently right now. We have a big recruitment looming this weekend, man. We got a big possible commit this weekend. And of course, there's always going to be stuff around these big recruitments. And of course, yours truly is tied to it, the one and only primetime Deion Sanders. And so that already has people feeling some type of way. So there's a lot going on here. A lot to digest, so to speak. And I'm not so much worried about the actual recruitment, to be honest with you. I've kind of always said my piece on Lester. He's a null until I see differently. Now, what is it? Is he committing Friday or Saturday? One of those 2 days. Is it Friday? This weekend, I'm gonna find out where he's gonna be. He's either gonna be a null or not, and then, regardless of where he commits, we're gonna have a conversation about it, right? But my issue ain't with that. But before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, share the video, let everybody know we live. Because we're gonna have a community powwow. We're gonna get some things straight, or try to anyway. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We about to hit this roll call, man. I got Louis T in the building, Briley. My name's Jeff's in the building, Tyler Head, member of the tribe, Terrell, Florida State Love, member of the 863 tribe. Rough Riders, FSU Tony's member of the 863 tribe, Born Legacy, Marvin Barnes, Jay Adams, Montre, Seminole Zach, Peter Shields, member of the 863 tribe, Vontae B is a member of the tribe, Priscilla Chestnut. I haven't seen you around in a minute. Priscilla, how are you doing? Good to see you back. Raymond James, member of the 863 tribe. Sane 305 Grill Master. Insane Mob is in the building. My man Serve 5, member of the 863 tribe. And for those of you that continue to come in, please continue to hit that comment section so you can get the proper shout out. For those of you that are here on time, we've just paid the bill. Already know. Hit that like. Y'all know what that means. Let's get into it, man. First, let's get into the actual facts of what's going on here, or what we believe to be the facts. This time last week, or maybe it was Thursday, whenever I went live last week, or whenever it was basically reported that Lester would indeed be taking this secret visit, which was a visit everybody knew about, but this secret visit to Colorado, I had an entire, I won't say fan base, I won't say the fan base, but those in the fan base that you could either consider media or content creators, however you want to label these individuals, they downplayed the visit. Like, okay, we already knew he was taking the visit. It's not a big deal. He told the staff he's taking a visit. This isn't a secret. This is what. Only to a week later be up in arms over what the hell's going on. So what's going on? Lester's in Colorado. If you didn't know, now you know. He's in Colorado. No secret about it. Apparently, I think his entire team or some guys from his team are also in Colorado. Don't know how many, but he's with some teammates in Colorado. Don't know if his family made that trip or not. I don't know all the details around it. I know Lester and some of the teammates are in Colorado. I also know Lester recently, I want to say yesterday, he commented, I want to say Cromartie was on Instagram Live showing off his new number. I think Cromartie's number 1 at Colorado. Anyway, he's showing off the jersey. And he's talking, Lester's in the comment section, whatever, and he's talking back and forth to fans. And the thing that gets screenshotted, highlighted, and cut out and posted all over social media is Lester specifically says, I ain't, or he spelled it like I-A-N, so I ain't, or you get what I'm trying to say, right? I ain't no. That's his words. I ain't no. I think somebody said he was a no, and I think Lester replied with, I ain't no. And that sent everybody up into a firestorm. Okay, cool. Me personally, I decided to have a little fun with it on Twitter or whatever the hell that bird app is called now. I don't know. Off topic. What's going on? What the hell's going on with Twitter being the X app? What are we doing here? But anyway, we'll get to that another time. So I had a little fun with it. Today, I can't verify if that's Charles Lester in that video today. So today, looks like his teammates are walking and there's somebody behind the camera and they're talking about where is he going? We don't know where we're going. Lester going wherever it is he's going. And the camera kind of zooms in. I don't know if this is Lester or someone else or a teammate, but the cameraman basically asks a question, where's Lester going? Lester does one of these, like a quick little chop. Lester's playing the game, people. He's playing the recruiting game. It's okay for that young man to go in and enjoy his recruitment and play whatever game he wants to play. My assumption is he's made it very clear it's down to Colorado and Florida State. He actually tweeted that today. It's between two teams. So Dion always finds a way to get himself into business. Shout out to Prime. It's down to Florida State and Colorado. I don't know what's happening on that visit. If he gonna flip, well, he can't flip from a place he's not committed to, right? But he's obviously been a heavy Florida State lean for quite some time. Those are the only facts we have. The only facts, guys. Now, I said a week ago, not a big deal really to me. However, I will say this. If you're Florida State, you don't want him taking that visit. You do not want him. You don't know what's going to happen in Boulder, Colorado. I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. I think he arrived yesterday. I think today he actually started the visit. I don't know if he'll be there. Tomorrow's Thursday. I don't know if he's going to be there Thursday, if he's leaving Thursday. I don't know how long he's going to be there. I was very clear. I didn't want him taking that visit, whether or not I thought it was a big deal or not. In my opinion, he's a null until I see differently. But if you're Florida State staff, there's no way you're happy or excited about that visit. And that's just rational thought. But again, those are the only facts that we have up until this point. Everything else you see on Twitter is a bunch of, y'all know me, I don't care. I'm going to call it what it is. It's a bunch of BS, clickbait, get your attention, interaction nonsense. It really is. It really is. And that's where the conversation is going to go. But before we go to the conversation, man, we got a super chat I got to get on to. from Chris. Says Orlando. I already know what it's gonna say without even reading it. It's always Orlando. Want to check in, my man Chris in the building. What is going on, Chris? You already know, Chris. I got you. I got you. I got you. Where is it? Bam.
50. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Shout out to my man Chris, man, with the $10 donation. Appreciate the love, Chris. Like always, I appreciate the love. So let's get to the whole point of what I'm even starting this live. First of all, it's a hangover. Haven't done one in a while. But let's get to the whole point of why I'm even here tonight. Because it ain't about Lester. To take a line out of a great movie called The Dark Knight. Florida State fans. And I can't do a great impression of this character, but you'll know where I'm going. What happened? Did your balls fall off? I remember a time when we had pride as a fan base. If you know who said that line, please put it in the comment section. But seriously, Florida State fans, what happened? A visit that you knew was happening for a week happened, and we went in meltdown mode. We started spaces. We started the vague tweets. We started all this crying and all of this blase bullshit. What happened? Somebody explain to me what happened. We forgot about this great offseason that we've had with all of this expectation. Getting Keon Coleman no longer matters. Jaheim Bell. We literally went through an offseason where you got arguably the best offensive lineman in the portal. He was one of the top 3 offensive linemen in the portal in buyers. The best, or arguably the best tight end in the portal. Keon Coleman didn't enter the initial transfer portal, but I think if he did, you're talking about one of, if not the best wide receiver in the portal. The best, or arguably the best, defensive lineman in the portal. And the best, or arguably the best, corner in the portal. What happened? This one recruit has you wanting to tear the program down again? We're back on the same old tired conversation points. I'm listening to spaces today. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? I love it. I get entertained by it. Listen, quick disclaimer. I'm not mad at anybody or those individuals that made that space and did their thing. At the end of the day, you create content, so it's your right to get on behind the camera just like me and talk about whatever you want to talk about. But when you put yourself out there in the public, everybody has a right to talk and critique. Somebody can make a video about this video and say how stupid I look in my hat and what am I talking about? Won't hurt me a bit. I'm just trying to figure out what we got going on as a fan base. Or are we just making stuff up? Or can we just admit that we don't know what's going on, and like everybody else, we're going to find out when it's time to find out? Because I'm confused. I thought we just had I thought we were feeling great this offseason. I really did. Now, are there some valid conversation points to be had about recruiting? There are definitely some valid conversation points. And the portal's not the end all be all. You have to recruit high school. Though I am a believer of what you can accomplish in the portal, I have never downplayed high school recruiting. It is as if not more important. But both, I believe, 1A, 1B, however you want to put it. I would argue recruiting's 1A and portal's right there. But I would also argue there's maybe, in this landscape, a smart staff can understand what type of players you want to focus on in high school and what can you achieve in the portal. Quite frankly, if my own personal opinion, if I'm a staff, I really focus on the trenches coming out of high school, a quarterback coming out of high school, linebacker. I would even argue I'm going to get a high school player, because I can't think of, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of any top tier backers that have been in the portal in recent years. But receivers and running backs, and even DBs even DBs. Florida State just showed you they rehauled an entire wide receiver room in one year, strictly out of the transfer portal. You know why? Because you can find guys. You can find guys. If I'm focusing on high school wide receivers, I'm focusing on big game. Because all those other filler guys, those sleeper 3-star receivers that can be sneaky good. I'm not saying don't trust your evals, but I can also find that in the portal. But that's a little off topic. But my point is there are conversation pieces to be had about recruiting. And I'm telling you, in the off chance that Lester commits to Colorado this weekend, I am going to have a conversation about it. And it will be directed, might not quite be what you expect, but it's going to be a mainly recruiting conversation that needs to be had. Because there are some legit things you can talk about there. I'm just trying to understand, the kid hasn't even committed yet. He really hasn't tipped his hand, unless you believe this visit is the end all be all, which you can make an argument, if that's your argument, that this visit is the flashing neon sign on the wall. Okay, I got it. I can't argue with it per se. The staff can't have warm and fuzzies right now with that commitment looming and knowing where he's at and what the coach where he's at has done the last 2 recruiting cycles with a top corner in the country. So there's no warm and fuzzies in Tallahassee right now. In Tallahassee, but Mike Norvell and a couple and the other guys are in Charlotte, actually. But there's no warm and fuzzies, right? With that said, you put all the resources you can put into them, the cards are going to fall where they fall. There's nothing more to really be done at this point. I'm just trying to understand, why are we disregarding an entire offseason of success? Hired Pat Surtain, who, of course, everybody's going to cry about. And again, there's going to be a conversation to be had, and I'll have that conversation if it warrants it. But now people already want to fire Pat Surtain. The man ain't coached a game yet. We ain't seen how the DBs look on field yet. And he took over a room with some pieces. And he came into some pieces that were, what did FSU recruit? 5 or 6 DBs? If you count the freshman Ashton Baker that came from JUCO, Hussey, Edwin, Rawls, Darius Jones, Kurt, six new DBs, all freshmen in that secondary. So Tane's got tools and pieces to work with. We want to fire him already. Based off of Charles Lester. Shout out to Charles Lester, man. You see the power you have over these 30-year-old men? It's insane, isn't it? Always understand, high schoolers, this is the power you have over grown men. And look, I have fun with football just as much as anybody. I love this stuff. It's entertaining to me. It's a hobby for me. I'm all in there and I'm all invested like most of you. But some of y'all really take it to an extreme level. But that's the power you have, Charles Lester. Just remember that. That's the power that you wield. Let me get to some comments. I think I said a lot. And I want to see how you guys are receiving it, because I've said a lot. So let's get to the comments and see what y'all saying. And see where we left off here. Tara, Jeff. Sorry, man. Jeff, I did Jeff. Let me get to Jeff, man. Jeff with the 10. I was so busy talking, Jeff, I didn't see the $10 dono. Jeff says, listen, he's putting on the show. I'm not worried about Dion. Ain't worried about Colorado. Lester's a no market after Friday. Shout out to Jeff. I wish most of us had that mindset, Jeff. I really do.
Jeff,
Let's see what Richard's got a long one here. So let's see what Richard's talking about. People too on their feelings. CJ goes to Colorado. Good for him. Wish him the best. We got good transfers, some good recruits. Focus on them. Get the other big fish recruits they want to come here. Briley goes, Pope, you asked what happened. The answer is FSU let Gator and Kane fans change the subject to recruiting. Great response, Briley. When I asked what happened, did your balls fall off? You've allowed the other fan bases to dictate how you feel about this offseason because one fan base didn't even make a bowl game. They went 5-7. The other one went 6-6 to get blown out in their ball game, 30-something to 3 that they had to kick a field goal not to get blanked out. So they also had a losing season. One fan base blew out 45-3. You put 45 on the other fan base as well, though that was obviously a better and closer game. And we've allowed them to dictate recruiting talk. Like if somehow Florida State's not top 15 in recruiting, where are we at in recruiting, people? Like if we're 50 in recruiting right now, let me go. I just want to check real quick. I want to make sure I'm not completely off base here. Make sure I'm not completely off base. Hold on. Let's see. Team rankings. 247 composite, by the way. Florida State, 14. Right now, we're above Oklahoma, Texas, South Carolina, who people tell me Beamer recruits amazingly. South Carolina, number 24. 15. Florida State's top 15 in recruiting, and we're letting that control our emotion. That's actually wild, Briley. Good stuff. Good stuff. Scrolling through some comments. Let's Get It has already conceded. It's your right to concede. He said he's going to Colorado. Chris says, so if Norvell don't land a top 3 class recruiting, then we can't win 10 games, the ACC championship, or make it to the playoff. I'm confused on what. Well, I'm trying to understand what the point was as well. That's the whole point of this. I'm trying to understand the point too. What are we talking about? Last time I checked, early signing period was December. Let's address that. Because there is one thing I will say real quick. I do think, because I saw some comments earlier, I think this is valid, or I think we think it's valid, but not as valid as we think it is, if what I'm saying makes sense. But you'll see what I'm about to say. A lot of us like to say, well, the season still has to get played. Games still have to be played. And that's usually a common response to a team that is a predicted maybe not to be that good on the field, but is recruiting at a certain level. We go, games still got to be played. And to a degree, that is right. But you also have to understand. For instance, we'll use Leicester since that's who we're talking about. If Leicester picks Colorado, and I said this all along, right? So I'm not going to switch up now. Leicester knows what he's committing to. Leicester knows that was a 2-win team last year, or 1-win team last year, right? 1-win team last year. He knows that. He also knows they flipped over 50% of this entire roster that hasn't played together in any extended period of time. If Leicester was to commit to Colorado, whether or not you think it's a smart, whatever decision, he knows what he's committing to. I believe a lot of these kids, you saw it last year with Miami, just to be fair, these young men know what they're committing to. How many flips did Miami didn't have a bunch of flips and decommitments at the end of that thing. Well, they only lost Cromartie and McLean. And Rashada ended up dipping. Yeah, Rashada ended up getting up out of there too. But that's about it. These young men know what they're committing to. So we like to say, man, the game still got to be played. Look, I'm here to tell you, yes, games have to be played, but these kids aren't dumb. They know what they're committing to. A lot of them understand what they're committing to, and they're down for the ride. I mean, Texas that year had a losing season and finished with a top 10 class, I think. Now, I know people, and I know what the excuse will be. Money, bro. Everybody's paying money. We can't cry money and then watch and then praise the battle's end and see when they doing work and standing on business like they like to say, and then we cry about money for other school. What are we talking about? Everybody's got money. Everybody's cutting checks, putting in deals, whatever. Some people just recruiting. So here we are. My bad, I got a message. Wednesday evening. Tearing down the house because we think Lester may go elsewhere. I don't know, guys. Last night leading into the day it's been entertaining as hell, don't get me wrong, but it's also been kind of embarrassing. It's been kind of embarrassing to watch the reaction. And that's how I know Travis Hunter still has. You want to know what happened to y'all's balls? Dion and Travis Hunter ripped them off and are holding them in a jar. Pause. They got your nuts. A lot of y'all still let Dion and Hunter control y'all emotions. It's the only thing I can come up with of why we're even having these conversations here in late July. Really, the only answer I got. Born Legacy. I'm with you, POLK. He definitely playing the game. The CHANT man at this point, who give a damn? We just got to do what we got to do with what we got to do with what we got. I feel he may pick Colorado. Let's worry about the season. Brandon says that's so true. Those other fan bases don't even want to talk. They don't even want to talk real football. They don't even want to talk real football. Everything is on Mike can't recruit. Mike can't recruit. Mike can't recruit. The it's the media, but the media tends to be a little more right, depending on this media source. When we start predicting football games, the media tends to be a little accurate when they pick. I think the media's got like Florida. It's like the third worst team in the SEC or something. Like only like Vanderbilt and like, I don't know, Missouri or somebody is worse than them. I don't have those rankings, but Florida's not expected by anybody. Florida had one of the worst spring showcases games. I don't know what you want to call that, the debacle that we watch. That was one of the worst congregation of football players on the field that attempted to play some caliber of football that I've ever seen. I need something to drink. Hold on. I'm over here about to die. And Miami's not as in a bad of place as Florida. They're getting their quarterback back who was hurt majority of last year. They had a good recruiting class. They had a solid portal class. They got some expectations, Miami. But even Miami fans aren't expecting the world. I'm listening to Miami fans say, man, if we can get to 8 wins, Mario cooking. Hey, that should be an expectation. That's a reasonable expectation, Miami fans. But that's the whole point. Nobody wants to talk about on the field because Florida State is by far and away clearly more talented, more organized in terms of this particular football team. I'm talking on field. A better football team than those other two programs. If this water don't get here soon, I'm going to choke to death. It wasn't just Newberg. That might be who you just saw. There was more, though. Marco. I think people want to talk about recruiting, and so far we haven't had any major recruiting wins to brag about. And see, this is where again, number 15 class in the country in July. We haven't had any major recruiting wins. I mean, it was Daniels, I guess, wasn't a recruiting win. Thank you, ma'am. Jonathan Daniels, I guess, wasn't a major recruiting win. I mean, all those. What are we at? Seven recruits in the month of July. Elijah Moore, who could have went to Ohio State, not a recruiting win. I guess we just pick and choose, man. We just pick and choose when we want to say a recruiting win is a win, or when number 3 quarterback in the class, you got him committed. Cam Davis, one of the top 5 backs in the class, you got him committed. Damn, bro. I don't know. We don't have any recruiting wins, y'all. Yes, I hear they're doing very well. I also hear they're doing very well. This is an interesting comment that I don't know if I agree with, to be quite honest with you. They're committing to Dion in a deeper sense, if you know what I mean. Dion brings that culture that most don't. Dion sells a walk of life they can relate to. Maybe not. I don't know. that walk of life is going to be very interesting when he's gone in 2 years. What's up, Terrence? How are you feeling, Terrence? Are you feeling okay? Terrence says y'all tripping. I don't know. Jeff with another $10. He says, I think I'm probably in a small group of fans that is not worried about recruiting. I think a lot of fans have Travis Hunter syndrome, scared it's going to keep happening. I'm not worried. Recruiting matters, but I'm with you on the Travis Hunter stuff.
Jeff.
Thank you, Corey. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. FSU hasn't had a series of major recruiting. We just solidly plotted our way into where we are without any pivotal shift in momentum. It hasn't felt like major recruiting wins. That's fair if you say if it hasn't felt like, because I guess the guys that were, I don't know, maybe because the guys that we all got were pretty much, for instance, you got KJ Bolden looming. I guess that would be a major recruiting win. But I guarantee you, Georgia's not going to feel like that. I guess if you're the underdog, you feel like it's a major recruiting win. And all the guys that we've gotten up until this point, except for Landon Thomas, so I maybe that again, that's not considered a major recruiting win. But Tyler just pointed that out. But I guess the point I'm making is I guess because you're favored to get some of these guys, it doesn't feel like major recruiting wins. But I guarantee you, to Georgia, KJ Bolden's not going to feel like a major recruiting win because they are wholeheartedly expecting that, right? I guess because it's so up in the air, Leicester would be your only major win. I understand the feeling, I guess. Mr. Maurice says, I don't think it's an issue of who's winning and recruiting because FSU is. The problem is these are recruits that didn't have CU in mind, and Coach Prime getting them there. I don't think it's an issue of who's winning and recruiting because FSU is. You see McCoy visit? Yes. But if you remember, I kind of have already – I've told you guys for a few weeks – you should probably count McCoy, and Abrams is already decommitted and flipped to Florida. I know, that shouldn't be a surprise if you have listened to me over any extended period of time. We should all understand that I'm not counting McCoy, and I was never counting Abrams in this class. If we understand that, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. I have a hard time believing, and I hear what you're saying, and hypothetically, I get what you're saying. I have a hard time believing you miss on Leicester and then KJ turns around and like says, "Yeah, I want to come to Florida State." That would be to me a conversation that those two have had because recruits do talk, and yeah, I have a hard time believing like Lester goes to Colorado and KJ shocks the world and comes to Florida State. I like my chances better if Lester picks Florida State. Maybe I have more optimism on KJ come August 5th. Because, again, I think that's a conversation that those two have. You feel me? But it won't be the other way around. Kevin says Deion just have a little more exposure or shine. But Deion, obviously, he's always been flair, right? If we take care of business on the field, recruiting would take care of itself. They would naturally get their exposure at FSU. I would address that point, but I want to wait till after Lester commits to talk about that because I have an issue with that statement. I have an issue with that middle sentence because I've been hearing this for a while now. Essentially, what you said was, if you win, you can recruit. I have a problem with that because, but I don't want to talk about that until Saturday or Friday, whenever it's time to talk about it. Because, yeah. POLK, you know what it is. It's recency bias. We can get a Hellcat today and disregard it because a different color Hellcat is available. That is a fact. Travis Hunter's the third or second round pick at least. No first round injuries and lack of film. But we'll see. I would like to see Hunter make that move to wide receiver permanently. Then we can really talk about his draft stock. As a corner, I'm not sure. As a receiver, I don't think there's a limit to how far he can go. Well, I mean, of course, there's always other prospects. I mean, I'm always of the opinion of why can't I have both? Why can't I have both? I've seen it done. So I don't like and I'm not necessarily saying you're saying this, but I don't like the idea of you can only pick one or the other. That's also a trending topic or a trending theme or excuse that's also being used in recruiting. Oh, well, they always acclimate. That's the new buzzword that I'm really getting tired of. First, a couple of years ago was proof of concept. Proof of concept was the buzzword. Proof of concept. You can't get anything done. You got to show proof of concept, which is a way to sound, which is a smart way of saying you got to win football games, right? So proof of concept was once a buzzword, was the buzz phrase. Now the buzzwords are resources. Florida State's putting all the resources here, which is why here's struggling, and they put all the resources into the offense. So the defense it's excuses, is what it is. It's excuses. At the end of the day, those are excuses. Resources and proof of concept. Just say what it is. We won 10 games, but Randy recruiting backers like we won. Can we talk about? Y'all want to hear something wild? Florida State signed with this new recent transfer, who's a true freshman, by the way. What's his name, man, guys? I'm sorry, I forget his name. Let me check I'm gonna check him out real quick. It's like Fryer or something like that. Justin Cryer, not Fryer, Cryer. Cryer. With the addition of Cryer, Florida State brought in 4 linebackers this offseason. Nicholson, Ward, Turner, and Cryer. Outside of Nicholson, who was a 4-star, what do you think the highest rated linebacker was of the mix? Let's see if y'all can guess it. Yeah, of course y'all can cheat and Google. But for my fans of integrity, My fans of integrity. Who do you think is the highest rated backer not named Blake Nicholson? And if you know who that is, where was he nationally rated? It was Ward. So those who say Ward is correct. What is Ward's national ranking? Matthew says 800. Remember, we're going by composite. Going by composite. Because it's lower than 800. Brown Turner 600, lower than 600. 1042. DeMarco Ward, nationally ranked. Matter of fact, I'll even share it so y'all don't think I'm lying. Well, they done switched up on me. How do I get to Oh man. Oh, there we go. Oh, I am tripping. Here we go. I just want y'all to peep game. Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that, right? That's what we added. Shout out to these, by the way. This is not about these young men. Shout out to them. I hope they come to Florida State and do their damn thing. I really do. I really do. You want to know what the point of that, though, is? What is the likelihood? That's the highest now, by the way. DeMarco Ward, when he was in the 1200s. What's the likelihood 3 running backs ranked in the mid-tier thousands? All of the pressure is put on Blake Nicholson. Blake Nicholson cannot bust. They have to hit on Blake. And then, if you're lucky, the likelihood that you can hit on one other of those linebackers is pretty good. The other guys either hit the portal eventually, or they could be a rotation guy, or potentially a special teamer, or whatever the case. Blake Nicholson's importance is that much more amplified. I got news for you. I love the potential that Blake Nicholson possesses. It's always a possibility that a 4-star doesn't pan out. We see it all the time. If Blake Nicholson busts, where are you? Because now you're telling me that 2 of those 3 linebackers ranked in the 1,200 and below are going, that you're going to get 2 gems out of that. What's the likelihood? What's the probability? What's the over-under? For any of my math wizards out there. What's the probability of 2 linebackers ranked that low, both hitting, to be, I don't know, let's say, I don't want to get can we get all ACC caliber? I'm not even saying be an all ACC player, but can you be just that caliber of a player? And I know we kind of left the Lester thing alone, because I don't even really want to talk too much about the Lester thing, because it's never was about Lester. It's about other things. So we kind of jumping around a little bit. Y'all know how we do around here. That's what we do. We jump around. We talk about it all. We cover it all. But how what is the likelihood of that? Seriously. Y'all think I'll be knocking the young men. I don't knock the player. I'm knocking numbers. There's only a certain amount of roster spots, a certain amount of players in each position group. When you recruit better, you have a better hit rate. Simply meaning, even if a guy doesn't pan out. So at offensive line, even if a guy doesn't pan out, I've put so many bodies in the stable. I can afford to have, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but for all intents and for argument's sake, I can afford that Julian Armella just bust. Because I've continuously added players and pieces around that. If Julian Armella busts, it doesn't hurt me that bad. Because I got Simmons behind him. And I also got Jalen Early in that class. And I got Dontre Richardson. Right? FSU almost has zero wiggle room in the backer room. And I like Omar Graham. I'm a big fan of Omar Graham. I think he's going to. And I even thought he's one of the few 3 stars when he came out. I thought he was better than his ranking. But even him, he was like ranked in the 600s coming out of high school. Like Blake Nicholson is so far and away. Blake Nicholson is so far and away the best linebacker prospect that you have in your room. It's I think Blake's going to be fine, by the way. I'm not saying he's going to bust. I'm simply saying, Blake's got to pan out, y'all. Blake has to hit. He has to. And then it doesn't matter which one of the other 3 backers hit, whether it's Turner, whether it's Ward, whether it's the new one. That's fine, but Blake has to hit. In other words, winning will help your lack of recruiting capabilities. Dion can sell that pitch to a single-parent home from Florida. It seems not to work anywhere else. Polk, I'm not complaining or criticizing. I just got to say, I'm with you. I'm not going to lie to you. And again, I do this thing for fun. I actually enjoy recruiting, but I don't enjoy where recruiting. I don't enjoy what recruiting has become. Because when I fell in love with recruiting, we didn't have all the sources. There was nobody like me. And by the way, there's a light-skinned dude on YouTube. No sources. Don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have any connections to anything in Tallahassee. Hell, I live in Texas. I'm from Lakeland, Polk County, Florida. Never attended the University of Florida State. None of that. I make predictions by looking at astrology and looking at the constellations, and that's how I just make predictions. So with all of that said, when I fell in love with recruiting, there wasn't anybody like me or like even 247. And these guys, they weren't covering it to the degree that they cover it now. So there was you legit didn't know. You legit didn't know until signing day where some of these guys were going. There were no crystal balls to this degree, right? The hat ceremonies and all of that was legit when you found out where a player was going. And so people didn't act this way. Now we know where a guy usually knows. If Whitfong drops something on a guy, we know where a guy's going 5 months before he announces it. It really don't even be a surprise anymore. And yet people still act like the way they acted with the Lester thing. We've allowed this thing to, I don't know, man, it's kind of gotten out of hand. At least when I started following recruiting and again, fell in love with it, people didn't act like this. You missed on a guy, you literally like missed on a guy and was like, damn, we missed on that one, move on. I remember one of the big misses we had when I first started following recruiting. There's two big misses that Florida State had that really stood out to me. Both of them went to Clemson. One was CJ Spiller and one was Tony Stewart, linebacker. Those were big deals back then. And we were like, damn, we missed and we moved on. We didn't do what we do now. And granted, there weren't the social media where people would just fire up a space and lose their minds over it, right? But you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. I love recruiting. I love breaking down the player. I love, how good is this guy compared to what I like that. I don't like the way fans have taken it. I'll agree. I'm over it too, Briley. I'm over it. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm over where fans have taken it. I really am. I really am. Oh my God. Fuller's doing what now? Did they say that in media day or something? Y'all lying, right? If Fuller, y'all, you trolling. You're trolling. Because if that happens, I will call for Adam Fuller's job tonight. And I have turned into an Adam Fuller supporter. Yeah, so that also was some news that came out this week. And what's up, Anthony? FSU did post some gains and losses. Let me see if I can find that actually, so we can go over those. We'll go over those. So, by the way, hit the like button, please, if you haven't. I will call for Adam Fuller's job tonight if I see a man. But I know he's playing. Hit that like button for me, people.
Go your motherfucking ass to sleep. Whoa, shit, what the fuck good buddy hit me with? I told him I wasn't sleepy. He had to have a brick in that bitch.
Give me a minute, y'all. I'm trying to find the gains and losses. I've tweeted so much since then. It might take me a while to scroll and find it. But I should be able to find it fairly easy. There it is. Well, there's some of them. Where's the article? Come on, Logan. I know you posted it. I should have been prepared, but I didn't think we were going to talk about this. But I should have figured somebody would bring it up. There's really nothing too critical. I do think there was one big game, the one big loss that I saw that might be worth talking about. I legit can't find the article. If anybody has that, you can post it and we can go over it together. But Jalen Early lost a lot of weight from what I remember. Jaden Jones also is up to 252, which I think is going to be very interesting to watch. Aaron Hester gained 204, went from 227 to 241. Man, I got to see that. But Aaron Hester isn't very long, so I don't know. I don't know if that weight gain is good or I don't know there. And Byron Turner's up to 244. I'm trying to find. They did all the positions, and I can't find it. And again, I know there's a link in the article out somewhere because I read it. I just can't find it. I know you're making it up. I agree with that. I do think we'll do a 5-man front. That will happen, but we will not be a base 5-1-5. That'd be funny. No, Shaheen gained weight. Somebody posted, man. Pat lost weight. I know Pat lost weight. Man, let me see if I can find this shit so we can get the actual numbers here, man. Let me Google it. Yeah, just Google it. Google can find anything. What am I doing? FSU weight gains. See what comes up. Gains and losses. No, that's not the one I want. That's from 2021. But where's the updated one? Okay, let's type in 2023. Gotta be specific in this. Okay, is this it? Hold on, let's go back. When was this published? I gotta make sure I pick the one that wasn't ahead of fall camp. Okay, so this should be the one right here, posted by Noel's Game Day. Yes, this is the one I was looking for. Let's start with quarterbacks, y'all. Matter of fact, let's share the screen so y'all can see what I see. Get out of here. Okay, y'all should see what I see. Brock Glenn up to 213. Sam Singleton up to 188. Oh, that's a notable weight gains. Go to the position. Hey, hold on, y'all. thought they broke this down by positions. I don't care about notable. Okay. Anyway, we'll just go. Notable weight gains. Brock Glenn, running back, Goldie, Marcus, and Doug. This concerns me. This first one, this last one right here. Tight end Marcus and Douglas getting back up to 285. Remember, when he was this heavy before, and they were considering moving him to the offense. I would have loved to see Douglas get down to like the 260s. That should be concerning. A guy that we thought was coming on at the end of last year really was getting in that tight end rotation. And I can make a legit argument that by the end of the year, Marcus and Douglas was a better tight end than Cam McDonald, right? For him to get back up to 280 it should be concerning, you know. It should be concerning. I don't know if any of y'all feel the same way. I don't know if any of y'all feel the same way with that, but I think I'm looking at some of the comments, and yeah, like Biscuit getting back up in the 280s should be a bit of a concern. Let's continue. Jaheim Bell's up to almost 240. Meech actually putting on 9 pounds. It's kind of good. Darius always stays in that 300 range. Shout out to Darius. Love seeing Robert Scott. I was glad that Robert Scott lost all that weight in the spring, and good to see that he's like, I'll just talk about Robert Scott being injured. If he was injured, 313 pounds is a good weight for him. By the way, I can't verify this, but I do believe, and I don't want to spread any misinformation. I saw some people tweet it. I do believe Robert Scott may have lost a family member recently. So prayers out to Robert Scott, and I hope everything's going well for him, obviously. Just want to put that out there, send out some good energy. You know, if you want to, if you believe and do that sort of thing, send some good energy out there to Robert Scott. Dontre at 316. Kanaya Charlton, actually, I mean, this is an interesting weight for him. Here's a guy who came into Florida State like 350, 360 pounds. He's dropped some weight. Only 3 pounds. That's not a big deal. I'm interested to see, you know, how long is it before Kanaya can get on the field? Lucas Simmons getting up to 313. Good sign. Chris Otto getting up to 326. That's a big boy. Verse up to 260. Good for him. I'm interested to see how he uses it. He already has a nasty bull rush. I want to see how he uses those hands going forward. Gilbert Evan up to 257. I don't know if I like that. Gilbert Evan did not look explosive in the spring to me. So adding 12 pounds, but maybe that's not his game. And maybe they're not using, maybe the weight gain for him is simple. We're not using you to rush the pass. That's what Pat's for. You're going to be, you know, we want you to set the edge in the run game. So maybe getting the weight there is a part of the plan. I like to see Byron Turner get up. Jaden Jones, that's the huge one for me. I didn't expect Jaden Jones to really have any say-so this. First of all, he's coming off a knee injury, and if you check the pictures of Jaden Jones, he looks pretty thin. I think most people would agree with that. Jaden Jones getting up 250 pounds. What is it? 252. From 230s to 250s is a big deal. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. We might be a little deeper defensive end than we initially anticipated. Okay, yeah. So prayers out to Robert Scott now. Let's continue. Let's continue. Aaron Hester again up to 241. Dennis Briggs put up to 290. That tells me that he'll be a part of that D tackle rotation for sure. Daryl Jackson up to 334. He's always been a big boy. KJ up in the 300s. It's good to see KJ out there putting on the work. DeMarco Ward up to 227. That's interesting. I don't have any expectations of DeMarco Ward as a true freshman. 227. I mean, if he can still run, hey, we'll see. Ashland Baker up to 206. Hussey and AZ. I'm glad to see AZ. I want to see AZ playing at 200 pounds. I'm glad to see AZ putting on some good muscle. I didn't realize Fentrell was so small. He gained some weight. And does anybody care that the kicker gained 6 pounds? I don't think so. maybe I'm the only one. Let's take a look at the weight losses. People might not be a fan that Total Philly lost some weight. Not too worried about it. I hear Keziah Holmes is looking good again. That, those are going to be two big backs. They're going to use Total Philly. Total Philly's going to be fine. I like to see Johnny lose some weight, personally. I think that's a good thing. Though, some of these, like, we're talking 3 pounds, y'all. I mean, that's a night at Burger King. You feel me? Like, I'm not 3 pounds, all of that's not really that much to worry about here. But I do think Johnny could benefit from being more in the 235 range. Johnny's already not extremely fast to me. Lose the weight. Chakai lost some weight. Burrell losing weight makes sense. Remember, they kind of bulked him up to he's supposed to be in the running back room. I think he's made the full transition back to receiver, so him losing weight makes sense. Hakeem losing weight is a big deal. People talked about how kind of stiff he looked in the spring or lack of explosiveness. Him getting below 210, I think is a big deal. I think, who knows? We could see something good out of Hakeem. I don't know why Jackson Wentz is still on the roster. Morlock losing some weight. I mean, he's 6'7". He'll be fine. Jarrell Powers lost 11 pounds. I'm guessing they want to get him more explosive. Roddick losing a little bit of weight. I think Jeremiah Byers losing weight could benefit him, especially if you're telling me that this man's going to be like a permanent tackle for you. I think he's more of an inside guy. But if they're going to use him at tackle, I want to see him lose a little bit of weight. Thomas Schrader losing weight. I don't know if that really matters. Armella continues to reshape his body. Love to see that. I would like to see Armella play more at around 315. That 320 range might be as big as I want Armella. So that's good to see. Jalen Early's the one. Like, Jalen Early just lost like a 5th grader, y'all. Like, Jalen Early getting under 300 after really being one of your bigger old linemen. I don't know, guys. What do you feel about that? I think my expectation or I'm about to choke again. Hold on. My thoughts on Early. This is my, again, reading the stars. He probably had some bad weight, so they wanted to cut. And they're probably going to use this season. I don't expect Jalen to play other than in some certain situations. I think they'll use this season for him to bulk back up, but he's going to bulk up with proper weight. And he lost the bad weight. They'll bulk him back up. That's what that says to me. When I see lost 25 pounds, that's intentional, obviously. And I think they're cutting to bulk him back up. What do y'all think about the Jalen Early losing 25 pounds? That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's how I view it. Let's continue on. Pat lost 4 pounds. Not a big deal there. Maybe people wanted to see Pat get bigger, but Pat's your speed edge guy. I think we're fine. Anderson losing 11 pounds. I like that. Fabo losing 10 pounds. I like that. Because that means I think he can stay healthier if he's losing no weight. Fisk losing some weight. Fisk is already a lot more explosive than people I think realize. I like that. I don't know what to make of Daniel Lyons losing 10 pounds though. I would like to see him get bigger. Lundy losing weight. We've seen. We want Lundy in that 230-ish range. That's when he's been his best. Akeem Dent lost some weight. Shaheem Brown lost 12 pounds. He did lose. That might be good or I don't know. Is that good or bad for Shaheem? We'll see. I don't care about Jarian. Ronaldo. Greedy's already small, so I mean, yeah. Quindarius Jones, that's actually a pretty decent weight loss right there. I don't care about Fitz. I don't care about Mastromano. And I don't even know who this last punter is. Matter of fact, actually, can Mastromano play some linebacker? We might need him to play some linebacker, y'all. So, but again, y'all continue to hit the like button. That might be the play. Maybe that may be the play. Maybe they want to lose some weight on lines and maybe throw him outside. It's possible. What, like defensive tackle? I don't know. I've never seen him play it, so I don't know. I don't know if I'd be high on that. I think it's more of an indication of, again, you cut the bad weight. Now you're going to build back the weight, but you're going to build it back properly. So we did. We did. Originally, he was recruited as a backer. Yeah, Greedy's small. Greedy's a little guy. He's a little guy. So those fall, or I guess you would call them summer workouts, paying off for some. I don't know what Biscuit was doing this summer. He must have been eating them Popeyes biscuits again. Cause I don't know what Biscuit was doing this summer, but if there's anything I took out of that, is that Jaden Jones, I'm excited for now. A guy that I didn't have any expectations for at the edge, because coming off of a knee injury and being kind of light in the ass. All of a sudden, he's a year removed from the injury, and he's a year removed from the injury, and now he's up to 250 something pounds. I'm excited for that. And then Biscuit. I don't know what Biscuit was doing this summer. I can't think that is intentional weight gain on Biscuit's part. They made such a big deal about him losing that weight and getting in shape, and for him to go back to the 280. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 5 pounds away from being as big as some of your offensive guards. Like, that's a guy that I think all of us had some pretty high expectations for. I think all of us thought he fit fairly well in that tight end room. Very good compliments to Jaheim Bell. Like, I thought Biscuit, in my opinion, was the guy that brought you a little bit of both of what those, like, we know Jaheim Bell's I won't say strictly. His strength is going to be a receiving tight end. Morlock can probably block a little better, but at 6'7", they're going to expect him to be a jump ball type of guy. But I thought Biscuit was the guy who you don't know what he's in. When he's in the game, you don't know. Biscuit has good hands. We've seen him make good catches, and we know he can block. But again, to go to 280, I mean, I hear you. You say he spells out roll blocking tight. I mean, I hear you, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. And maybe I'm just overblowing a little bit of weight gain. Maybe it's all muscle, and he's just going to be a beast out there. Bradley says Biscuit looks great. We just saw a clip. I think it was the final climb vid. I wouldn't have thought he gained. Okay. It's just going to be interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how he looks. Remember that, again, this was a guy who at one point we didn't think was going to be anything. He retooled himself, had a strong year, I thought, last year. Even if the numbers might not indicate it, I think anybody who watched him and his growth in this team felt like, by the end of the year, Biscuit became an integral part of it. So we'll see. We'll see there. But that's really the show. I'm glad we got to touch on some stuff at the end of the show. And of course, we talked a little about Leicester at the beginning of the show. But at the end of the day, this was for you. This was for the fans. This was for the content creators. And I don't care if you don't like me and you don't like what I had to say, but grow some nuts. Again, what happened? Did your balls fall off? Why are we panicking it really started on a Tuesday over one player? Is that player a good player? Man, the player's arguably, potentially a great player. I'm not downplaying the player at all. But what are we doing? Did we not just have one of the best offseason we've had in the last? When was the last time Florida State had an offseason with this type of expectation, this type of the caliber of guys? We got a Heisman hopeful. We've got a couple first round picks potentially on. When's the last time we went through an offseason like this? And to forget all of that in a matter of 24 hours, because you're following a 17, 18-year-old's Instagram, is utterly ridiculous. And I hope this reaches the people that need to hear it. And whether or not they agree with me or don't like me is irrelevant. But I hope it just hits them and they go, you know what? I'm tripping. There's a lot of things to talk about. This ain't one of them. We got LSU game 1. We got a whole important season. If he goes to Colorado, we'll be back over here regardless. But if he goes to Colorado, we'll address it and we'll talk about it. Y'all know me. I don't sugarcoat. I don't tell you that shit tastes like birthday cake. Right? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give the proper praise when warranted. And I'm going to bring the hammer when necessary. Right now, I think everything that's happened up until this point is unnecessary. We'll see what happens with Lester, and we'll talk about it. But at the end of the day, this is what it is. Embrace the villain. Embrace the fact that everybody's rooting for you to fail. Stop talking recruiting with teams that can't win 5 games on the field. Stop talking recruiting with teams that you blow out 45-3. Stop talking recruiting with teams that got to kick field goals in the last 30 seconds of a bowl game so they don't get blanked. We talking football. Last time I checked, the game was played football. No, I ain't talking coordinators. Get out of here. We talking ball. On the field. Between the hashes. What is it? 100 yards long football field. What is it? 50 yards wide, 45 yards wide, whatever it is. That's what we're talking. So with all that said, guys, I appreciate y'all for coming in, tuning in tonight. Y'all already know. Big fight this weekend, too, for all my fight fans out there. Who you got? You already know I'm tuned in. I got big fish. I got Earl. But who you got this weekend? Undisputed welterweight. I think this is going to be the first undisputed welterweight. I got big fish. I ain't mad at people that's picking Bud. It's a legit 50-50 fight, man. I'm excited. Big time fight this weekend. So for all my fight fans, y'all got to tune into that for sure. I will be back most likely Friday because I think Saturday is going to be a day of me engaging and indulging in adult beverages and watching people punch each other in the face. So I probably won't do this on Saturday, but I'll try to get back with y'all on Friday because I think Lester commits Friday, right? Doesn't Lester commits? Today's the 26th. Yes, Lester commits on the 28th. So obviously Friday, we're going to come on here. We're going to talk about this stuff again. Hopefully it's in a positive light. I don't shy away from positivity or negativity. But thank everybody who came in, showed up and showed out. Hit a like button. Again, hit that like button. Subscribe if for whatever reason you're new. Please subscribe. If you aren't new, but for some reason aren't subscribed, please do that. And share the video. Share the video. That's how we continue to grow the 863 tribe. Share the video, like button, subscribe to the channel, and by all means continue to get in the comment section and interact. On the most interactive Florida State YouTube channel on the entire internet. I think this is most interactive Florida State platform, period. I don't care if you're doing spaces, YouTube, podcast, SoundCloud, whatever. You don't get that type of interaction nowhere but here. It is your boy Polk over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles. And we out here. Go Noles.